So, welcome to part 2 of my playthrough of Fantasy VII. The original, obviously, as you can look at it. For those who haven't seen it, please watch part 1. But long story short, we escaped from Midgar. So, on that note, let's get into it. So, we're on the overworld now, but I'm going to skip this bit to get to the next town. So, we're in the next town now. Honestly, can't remember the name of it. But I should have looked it up really before recording. But, like in good true fashion, I'm going to be looking for items. Because there's got to be some hanging round. Surely there's got to be. And there is.
I knew it.
So, we're in the inn, tavern, pub, hotel. Inn, I think it is, isn't it, in this one? They did say. But anyway, we have got a bit of a hog of backstory now. But nonetheless, I'm still looking for items. But it does explain a lot. Because I never really played this. Like I've been saying, as if I'm bragging, but I'm not. But nonetheless, we are going to be deeping into a massive rabbit hole in what goes on. So let's get into it. So we're in this flashback now from 16 years ago. And we're actually meeting Mrs. Strife, Cloud's mother. I wasn't quite expecting this. I'll be honest, I think it's the first time we've ever seen, like, parents in the game, I think. I'm probably wrong. Let me know in the comments. But nonetheless, like true mother style, she's expressing her deep disappointment into us, as we can see in these flashbacks. In true mother style. So, skipping a bit more forward now, we're in the facility where we've been sent to investigate with Sephiroth, because we were obviously working alongside him at this point, 16 years ago. We're in the facility now where Hojo seems to have been experimenting with macro energy, people, and since he started doing all this, is where these beasts have actually started coming out and attacking the people in the village and everything. So this is why we're here originally. But I mean, look at it. It's absolutely foul and disgusting and scary and everything. And even Cloud's wondering what it is. But this is where Sephiroth confirms that, even though by the sounds of it, these guys are infused with Mako to an extent, these are even further. So by the looks of things now, with a little bit of thinking from Sephiroth, he's going through a bit of a midlife crisis now. He's trying to find out who he is himself. And we get in this awesome cutscene, which I think starts to unravel a bit more about Sephiroth and everything. But you can see by here that it's sort of like hasn't quite finished turning into a fully fledged monster yet. So he's still very much got human legs, by the looks of it anyway. But obviously Sephiroth now is doing a bit more research, and is where he's discovering about the ancients. They were actually called Cetra by the looks of things. And more he's diving into it, more of a rabbit hole he's going into. But I think, long story short, I think Sephiroth was actually created, and he's like the child of Genova, which is someone or something they found in the ruins of the Cetra years ago in Shinra. So I think Sephiroth, by the looks of it, is actually a product. There we are, produced. He was a product of the Genova. So this is where the whole he wants to see his mother thing comes from. So I'm actually relieved now. I know where it all comes from. Because, like I've said, I've never played it. This is a first for me. So yeah, in true Mother's Day fashion, he is going to see his mother. But in true fashion, it doesn't seem to go too well. So as Sephiroth has pretty much burned the city to the town to the ground now. I'm assuming he's found out that he's not the only child. And he probably found out also that he's not the favourite. But anyway, we got Tifa now being an absolute boss going for him across all that. But he does end up causing quite a severe injury by all accounts. I mean, the fall on its own looks pretty significant. But by the looks of it, by the context of the text later on, it would appear that he actually stabbed her as well. But Cloud, like the true gentleman that he is, he manages to keep her safe into one side. And make sure that she survives at the least. Because obviously she survived, because she's playable in the game. Back to the world map, we've got to progress on with the story. But I actually found this chocobo ranch, where I went walk to the chocobo, and they're doing a rather nice little dance. And after the dancing, we do actually get a materia summon for Chocobo Mog, so that will come in handy later on, I believe. So after progressing a bit more through the lake, past all I can describe as Gizmaluk, we've come across Seng, Rude and Lena. Long story short, they've given us the hint where to go to next, which is Junon Harbour, which is going to be a lot of potching about to get through this bit next. But it does all work out in the end though, as a bit of a spoiler. So after finding Junon Harbour, which I will be honest, it took me a while to find because I thought I'd found it, didn't think it was actually it. Ended up again then, finding it again, and realised I had to go to the lower part to get into the town. But nonetheless, we made our introductions, we've gone to the harbour, gone to the beach area now to help Mr. Dolphin against this monstrosity of a sea monster. Why I'm using fire spells, I don't know. But between that and the bolt, the fire actually seemed to work better. I would have thought the bolt would have worked better. But nonetheless, lots of bolts, lots of fire breaths, and a fair few limits as well. We do actually beat this boss with relative ease. Not too much of a struggle. I struggled with this bubble thing that he put around us at some point. I had to figure that out. But nonetheless, we did eventually beat him. And this right, I weren't even going to put this in this video. I struggled so much with this. I don't know why. The task is obvious. The assignment is easy. Basically, get on Mr. Dolphin's nose, get pushed up onto what I can only describe as the bar going across. But every time I was trying to assess it, get one or two failed attempts obviously, it just didn't seem to work out. I eventually did it, of course, but even from that angle, it didn't look like it was going to be nowhere near, and I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought I had to zap Mr. Dolphin to make him jit it a bit harder or something. But I did eventually do it, but I weren't going to put this whole thing in. So finally, after doing that little mini game with the Dolphin, we are having to brush up on our marching and parade skills. It's quite a cool little feature, but again, I struggled so much with this. I just didn't understand the assignment. I thought I had to run behind, go from behind and go in. Again, this took me ages. I mean, it's obviously me, but I just kind of felt it wasn't explained properly. But nonetheless, we did it. And we managed to do this bit really well, in fairness. I managed to do it quite alright. But in true enemy-villain style, Rufus doesn't get it. And we do encounter Sephiroth again. And we have to fight this sort of Sephiroth essence of sort. Which of course again would be quite easy. And again, this minigame can go suck an absolute massive lemon. So it's at this point now where we're learning a bit more about Barret. Long story short, this would appear where he used to come from. But by the looks of things, he's a bit run down and things have happened and he's been punched. But there is a massive casino above. And that casino, or theme park or whatever we want to call it, is called the Gold Saucer, where we have to pay 3,000 gil to get in. Not what I was expecting. You can't even use the save point outside, which is really stressful if you're not really familiar with it. But in fairness, if I planned ahead, I could have fought a few bosses and so on and so forth. But we get to this part now where Barret's a little bit upset about what's going on. They're all finding out about it, and he just wants to get his head out of it. He doesn't want nothing to do with it at the moment. He can't deal with it. But we are left to our own devices at this point now, where we come across Kitesafe. If I'm mashing that up, apologies. But nonetheless, we get a new party member on the team. Again, I'm going to keep the same name, just so I can try and learn them. So the Gold Saucer then was under attack by a man with a gun for an arm. Obviously at this point, I thought it was Barrett sort of losing it. Because obviously he was a bit upset and everything. But obviously Dio knows we were with him. So that's why he seems to be arresting us. So Mr. Courts here is in charge of like the natural prison area of the Gold Saucer. And hopefully though, he's going to help us get out. In the way of a chocobo race. But not before we beat this guy up. This guy is named Dine, and he also has a gun for an arm. But it turns out that it's a long lost friend from Barrett's history. But obviously this guy was responsible for actually shooting up the Gold Saucer and not Barrett. So, it's a 1-to-1 battle. Long story short, we do come out victorious, but not without a few killers on our side though. But a lot of big shots were blown. So after beating Dine up, we are actually taking part of the chocobo race to gain our freedom. Now, I'm not ashamed to say that it was at this point I thought I'd press the button on the controller to manually take control of the chocobo. I thought, oh, it's not too responsive, but I thought it may have been a discipline issue. But I'm obviously playing this on PS4, so I weren't quite sure. But I did eventually figure it out. And we did win. So, we do have our freedom for the time being. So with all that in hand, we do actually earn a trophy, the Choco Champion. But also, we do get a letter from Dio explaining that he's forgiven us and this and the other, and he's pardoning us, he's setting us free. Which is great, obviously. I'm not really down in that. But he does give us the use of a buggy for the overworld. So that can only be a good thing. And he does also give us a hint of where we do need to get to next. So with our assignment now fully explained, we've got use of the buggy which can be used in shallow rivers and deserts. So if you've enjoyed the episode, please give a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next episode.